Here we go. Send me a letter if you could. They killed the mailman in my neighborhood. You leave a light on it if you want it, but they cut all the lights, all the power is gone.
Generated the telescopic workers are under
No, you know, even when curtains close, I'm not supposed to be alone. Look how they made houses of our own. Would you share a drink with me if we could meet? They shot the mailmaid in the middle of the street. Share a cup of sugar if you had any more. They made sure to keep the lights long at the store.
Hello and welcome to a special feature interview presented by 15 Minutes of Fame and Collaborative Artists Network. Today we have a very special guest. Recently, the Portland, Oregon independent artists Golem released their single Good Morning. They also just wrapped a short tour schedule in August with 6 shows in 2 states, Washington and Oregon. And they describe themselves as the soft part of hard things. I would like to welcome Em and BEX Joy of Golem. What's going on, guys?
Hi, thanks for having us. That was so sweet.
Yeah, you bet. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with me.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Happy to be here.
Yep, I wouldn't have it any other way. So, I wanted to talk quickly about the tour that you guys just wrapped here. It was 6 shows, and you wrapped with a homecoming in Portland at an art gallery. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or is it just called the art gallery?
It was at an art gallery, so we performed in a giant empty white room with concrete floors and wild acoustics.
Oh my goodness, I bet it just reverberated everywhere. That's great.
It was a little better once people showed up because people kind of act as a nice little
They
soundtrack
absorbed
in and of themselves. But yeah, it was in an art gallery. Our hall didn't have, well, I guess we were the art in that moment, but there wasn't any. It was a big, it's an art gallery without any, it didn't have an exhibit
Yeah, they were
in
like
it.
between exhibits. So
It's a big
we were
empty
Okay.
white
the empty
space.
exhibit hall.
Very liminal. It was like us, and then in the next room, some like video installation that was just cycling through contextualist like construction site video clips.
Kind of cool.
It was very
Oh,
strange
yeah.
when we first arrived.
Very avant-garde.
Yeah.
So, how was the atmosphere being out playing in all the shows in each of the 6 shows? Like you did some in Washington, it looks like, and then there was a couple in Oregon. What was the atmosphere overall for the tour?
It was really sweet. I feel like the shows themselves were like they were smaller shows, but the response was overwhelmingly positive. It was a lot of people who were like, "Whoa, that was so cool! I loved that." So that was a really sweet reception, and got to play with a lot of really sweet, cool bands. It was both of our first time going on tour. So it very much was like a proof of concept, like, can we plan this? Can we make this happen? Can we get from point A to point B to point C without exploding? And we did.
We did. No
Excellent. No explosions, 0 explosions, except for the audio, of course, like explosion of sound. Excellent.
Explosion.
Yeah, and energetic explosions. There you go.
Yeah.
Positivity and love. I love it. So I don't want to veer too far into the political stage of our nation right now.
Let's go.
But
Reporting to you live from a war zone.
Oh yeah. Hey, we're
you can't jump ahead, Em. Come on. So being in Portland, there's a nationwide debate going on. So what's life like as a rock band playing in shows in a city that is engulfed in flames? And do you know the frog suit guy?
Not personally, but I also am well trained enough that if I knew the frog suit guy, I would never tell you. I would never tell you if I
There
knew
you
the frog
go.
suit
Yes.
guy. I know.
Protect him with your life.
That's my national hero,
I
frog
did
suit
hear
man.
I did hear the protests the other day. People were handing out costumes, and so everybody
There's
was
a
like,
whole
getting custom
organization now
costumes.
and handing out inflatable costumes.
So cool.
Oh,
So,
that's incredible. It's
but
like I don't know if you guys ever saw the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, like
didn't see
everybody
that
handing
one
out the
though.
clown masks or whatever. So he got away
Yeah,
because he was, yeah.
we
But
love
yeah, that's
we love a
great.
uniform. We love a coherent big moment of solidarity.
Yeah.
It is really like located to one city block.
Yeah.
So my mom continuously texts me and asks me if I'm okay, which is very sweet. She lives far away, so she's very concerned. But then it's like it's the most boring occupation
Nothing is.
I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Nothing in my personal life has shifted even a little bit, except for the conversations of like, oh,
Yeah.
that's the thing that's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
And
it's not been something that like in day-to-day life it's just kind of normal. I have not seen any fires.
not a single fire.
Not a single fire.
We even have electric stoves. Come on. Like, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So the rest of the nation should be at ease because there are no fires. Nothing's engulfed in flames. Everybody's safe.
Surprise, surprise, but we're not the problem.
Oh wait, what? What? That is incredible. Okay, so in the last 2 years, Golem Pink has released an album, My Country is a Vampire and I'm Full of Blood, and two singles. We Want was the one that came out in I think January, and then it was August when Good Morning came out. Uh, would you say the inspiration from the album is in line with Good Morning, or have you kind of removed yourself from the good or the era of your album? I would say.
Well, we are working on a second album, and
Oh.
I think more than Good Morning being separate from the first album, because I think there is like a similar vibe and connection, because that 1st album has a lot of those like political themes, like political metaphors, and Good Morning definitely has that. It's like one of our most overt songs in that regard.
Yeah.
But our next album is not totally, we're still us, it's still us writing the music, but it's heading in a different direction thematically, and so I felt more like this song is really cool, but it doesn't really have a home in either place, so we kind of released it as its own thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so 15 Minutes of Fame reviewed Good Morning upon its release, and I remember drawing comparisons to Radiohead, Nine Inch Nails, and Blood Brothers in that review. Who are your influences, and how would you want to be compared to them?
Oh, we've never gotten that second part of the question. I think the bands that I typically go to first, I think Radiohead is a great pull. We're also heading in that more trip hop direction, so stuff like that's going to come up a lot. But I think up until this point, the things that I go back to are Tune Yards. If you remember them from like the mid aughts, I think they're still around, but they were more popular around then. And this band that I grew up listening to called The Books, which is a little bit lesser known. They're part of a genre of music that's referred to as plunderphonics. So it is a sample heavy, found sound heavy group. How would I like to be compared? How would we like to be compared? What do you think our influences are? I'm stalling. So you answer your part, and then I'm gonna think something cool to say later.
I also would agree that those are kind of our inspirations. I have some personal inspirations of like, especially how I approach it, like my vocalism in the band. I really love the composer Carolyn Shaw. I grew up in like a very like choral atmosphere, and so like a lot of my parts are very like vocal focused and like choral driven, especially just like I love the weird sounds that people can make with their bodies. I think it's so cool and fun. And I think that we really lean into like a collage aesthetic, and I want people to, one of my favorite things that people will say after they listen to our album is like, there's all these shifting textures, and every time I listen to it, I hear a new thing, and it's so exciting. Like, and that is exactly the vibe that I want to cultivate, where people are like listening to it and discovering new layers and really excited about it. And I also do a lot of our like audio engineering for the band and help create a lot of those layers, and that's one of my favorite parts of doing it.
Well, I gotta hand it to you because when I was preparing for this interview, I went back and I listened to Good Morning a lot. I listened to the album, and then I went back and I read my review again. And I remember I actually had very much the same reaction when I was listening to it now versus when I was listening to it in preparation or while I was writing the review. In that I I and I actually said it in the review. I think I was very impressed with the engineering of it, like how things were panned out and how there was like these syncopated rhythms and everything that were going on with the music, with the guitars, and the backing vocals. I remember that was actually where I was just like, man, that reminds me of that very first Blood Brothers album. It came out like 20 years ago. They were like the founders of screamo, before it like kind of got lame. Like when it was awesome,
Sure.
it was when it was awesome, when it was good, when nobody was doing that, like they were pioneers. And I still Blood Brothers, I still listen to that album, and I've never heard anybody really just like pull off the backing vocals like they had and just in the way that they did. And so when I was listening to it, I was just like, oh, they're doing it. It's there it is. And so yeah, I have to give you props. BEX Joy, the engineering and the editing, phenomenal. It was
Thank
great.
you.
It is one of my favorite parts about it. I really loved that element of the. I think it honestly it really brings the song from good to great for me. So yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
It was my first time both doing the recording and the engineering and mastering.
Oh snap! You did the mastering too, yeah. Oh yeah.
We're a mom and pop shop. We do everything right here at
That
home.
hey, you're preaching to the choir. Welcome to the world of independent recording artists, right?
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
made
it's
here.
It was made right here
in this very room. Oh my god.
This is our recording studio. We are sort of half joking creative relationship is that it's like my job to be like, what if there was a guitar and a saxophone and all these vocal layers in this weird moment where everything cuts out and then there's this sample from this other thing, and then Joy's like, sure, and I can make that sound actually good. It's sort of like a architect to structural engineer relationship where it's like, I want all of these amazing things, and Joy's just like sweating trying to make the
Let me
building just
see
like
if I can
stand
make
up
that
on
happen.
wall, and they do an incredible job. You're great.
Thanks.
Super great. I really do. I think it really brings the song out listening to that. So that's awesome. Speaking to the mastermind in person, that's great. All right. So in your bio, you mentioned that you're a band entirely made up of members of the LGBTQIA plus community.
Mm-hmm.
As queer and trans performers, do you feel compelled to want to reach an audience within that community and its allies? Do you feel a desire to reach beyond that, to bridge your community with others, or is it a little bit of both, or do you not really think about that at all when you play?
What I do know is that every time we're in front of a queer audience, we kill. Like, there is, though our music isn't like explicitly about our queer experiences, it is at the forefront of who we are as people and how the world reacts to us and how we experience the world. And whenever we're sort of amongst our people, there is just something ineffable about our music that queer folks, LGBTQIA plus folks get. And
Yeah.
so there is a sense of being at home amongst that group of people, our people, as I would say.
Hmm.
Um,
There's a comfort level around it. Yeah.
yeah, and I definitely get really excited when we're playing in front of that kind of audience. It feels like a home game in some kind of
Hmm.
ways. I mean, every band, we're not in this to we want to be famous.
Yeah.
Like, we want to have enough
Want to be rock
uh
stars. Yeah.
yeah, we don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
I like my job well enough, but if I could do this and only this, then I would just do this and only this. And the only way to
Right.
get there is by having, not, by accessing a large enough audience that that there's plenty of people out there. But I don't know. I don't think we'll ever be. Oh, I don't think I'm ever going to stray that far from home.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay.
I
Yeah.
think, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think that also like our music, it doesn't center on queerness as a topic, but the way that we approach every topic is through the lens of our own experience, which is inherently queer. And
Sure.
I think that like even in the way that we engineer things and like compose the music, like it's a queer way of doing music where like
Hmm.
oftentimes instruments are in roles that maybe they wouldn't usually be in, and there's a lot of like shifting and yeah, there's like it's hard to describe, but I think that there is like an inherent queerness in the music that we make, and so I think that queer people especially resonate with that. But I also like that we don't write like music that is explicitly about being queer. Like that's not the goal of the band. The goal of the band is to like write just like really good music that is
The music that we want to
the
write.
music that we want to write.
Yeah.
And like
Just
maybe
write what you
sometimes
want
it's
when you.
that, but it is many things. So.
There are some very gay songs coming up on the next album. So there will be more of that as we go forward. And every time I make anything on the internet, there there was one time where I made, I don't know if you've looked at this stuff on our TikTok and our Instagram, where a couple of times I made these videos where I remixed sort of viral, weird TikToks where like someone's talking, like one person was talking about her experience going to a church and thinking that her pastor was a demon or something like that. And then there was another one where a guy was expounding on his political philosophy in a cool way. And I just like made little remixes of those because it's a very fun way to kind of do what we do in this band, but to make content. And the second I put that out, another trans femme woman was like, "This is so trans femme coded," and it's like I wasn't even very femme. I was like in a jumpsuit and I was just playing the remix, and so there's something about our music that just resonates with our people in that way, and I think that
Yeah.
will be uh, undeniable.
But I can appreciate that because you're approaching it from a way that, you're not trying to pander to anybody, but like it's something that resonates within yourself. So therefore it comes out like your songwriting isn't topical in the sense that you have an agenda. It's more of being topical and, by the way, it's a part of me, and by the way, a part of me is this, but it's not, it's it's some of your identity, but not all of your identity, and you're not afraid to approach it from that, as well as to approach it from every avenue that you can. And I love that. I think that that's great. So. I'm really a big fan of your songwriting. I love Good Morning. I love it was almost how like it was passively political, I would say, and then oftentimes a little bit more direct as well too. So I think it's very very good. I'm really excited to know that you guys are working on a second album as well too, and there's just going to be a newer sound. I think that'll be interesting. Your first album was so good, and just for a debut album, just to hear you grow from that, I'm really excited. So
Yeah,
that's good.
we just keep going until the wheels come off the wagon. That's the plan.
That's how we do, right?
Yeah, and I think that I agree that Good Morning has that overt politicalness. It's like one of my I wrote the lyrics to that song, and it became almost a game for me of how many it's our most referential song. So many of those lyrics are referring to either like yes to political stuff and also to because that whole song is kind of a in my mind and like anti techno fascist anthem in a way.
Mhm.
And it says references technology and references to the political ideology that comes up. So yeah, it's in there, and it's gonna probably
Yeah,
keep being in there because it's
absolutely.
what I think about all the time.
Yeah. You tell me about it. Like just last night, uh, my wife and I were just like, every night we lay down and we're like, okay, what did that asshole do this
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so when you're not aspiring to be badass rock stars, what is a normal day for you?
Um, I'm a music teacher, so I teach all ages music private lessons here in Portland, Oregon. I'm also the programs manager for my studio, so I do a lot of like admin and teaching, and then outside of that, I what's like a normal day? I work out, and then I work, and then I either play video games or work on music stuff. I often do a lot of mutual aid, kind of going back to that political stuff. And then we end almost every, we live, this is my fiance. Uh, uh, and we live together, and we end almost every night watching an episode of Star Trek and drinking tea, and then we go to bed. That's my perspective on it, on my sort of
On your day.
amalgam of an average day.
That's a good day.
Yeah,
Thanks.
pretty good day. I work at a grocery store. It's a collectively managed grocery store, so we have a lot of like meetings, and I'm one of the managers. And then I also
Everybody's a manager.
everybody's a manager. Everybody's a manager, and there's a lot to do. And then I cashier there, and we also just opened up a new thing. So a lot of my days have been planning and being very tired. But outside of that, I make music, and I do a lot of art. I draw and I paint, and I like doing lettering, and I dry a lot of plants and then put them over shirts and bleach dye, and I make all of our merch
Oh
for our
wow.
band. And
I was gonna ask, did you do any of the artwork for?
yeah. Em did the like album covers, the like collage bits, and then
Hmm.
I do a lot of like anything that you see that is like drawn or digital is something that probably I did. So anytime you see like a little golem doing an activity, that's probably me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've
I
often put it.
love that.
I'm often putting like a photo, an empty, like we did a show with a wrestling organization recently, and I was
Yeah.
like, here's a photo of an empty wrestling ring. Can you draw a bunch of golems wrestling in this? And we're about to go on tour. Here's a picture of a car driving down a road. Can you draw a bunch of golems on this? So like everything that looks hand drawn or painted is Joy. Also, all of our merch is Joy, including both the sticker designs and the actual clothing, and then all of the art, all of the album art is me. I'm saying what you just said. I'm realizing now in this moment that I'm just repeating what you just said.
It sounds just as awesome the second time. It's all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I like plants. I do a lot of like foraging and nature walks, and I know a lot of things about plants.
A lot of things.
A
lot of things.
I get down with that every single year. I try to grow a garden and I kill most of my vegetables. Well, I don't.
Gardens are tough.
The pests do. They come at me like I freaking have the only garden in the entire world. They just come after me. They find me from everywhere. But yeah, but I love. I guess so. Like they love my cucumbers and my tomatoes and my eggplants, everything. So yeah, those assholes. But anyways, I digress.
That's how it goes.
Exactly. Every year, but I'm gonna win one because I refuse to like do like chemicals. Like I really want it to be as organic as possible. And the bugs are like, yes. So
we're organic too.
Yeah, we love organic. That's what it is. They probably tell all their bug friends, they're like, oh, I eat organic. Have you ever tried the Thomas House? Like, it's all organic there. Like, maybe I should change it up. I need to be a terrible gardener or something. But all right. So, kind of in line of what we're just asking, but sometimes I like to throw in like a little question that kind of throws you off a little bit or whatever. So, what is your weirdest hobby or quirk that nobody understands except other people that do your weird hobby or quirk?
Hold on.
Loading.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what I have to think about. What I don't think anything I do is weird, but a lot of things I do are weird. So I have to think about what other people would think is weird. Yeah. Do you have a go-to?
Here, I'll give you an example. So I have this weird obsession with numbers. I work in finance. That's my day job when I'm not, moonlighting as a music entertainment journalist and aspiring independent artist or whatever. But so I have a crazy obsession with numbers. I love working in finance because I'm just around numbers all the time, to the point of where every time I've ascended or descended a flight of stairs in my entire life, I count them. And I remember the flight of stairs, how many stairs are in each set of stairs. The first time I go up, it doesn't matter how many stairs I've gone up in my life. I remember if I've gone up that flight of stairs one time, I know exactly how many there are because I have to end my step on an even number step. So if there's 9 stairs, for example, the very first step, I step on the first step, and then after that is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. If it's even, it's 2, 4, 6, 8. So I always have to do like 2 steps on the last one, and it has to be every other step aside from the first one if it's odd. I don't know why, but it's something I've done ever since the dawn of time. Back in there was this time called the 1900s when I grew up, and I was doing it then too. So that's an example of a quirk. So now your turn.
Okay, so I've got quirks. I've got quirks. I figured it out. So I'm neurodivergent, probably autistic on some level, and so I have what's called echolalia. So a lot of times when someone says something, there's just like an instinct of me to say the same thing, like just to echo, literally to echo what they just said.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have an interest in linguistics. So I will, if someone says something, especially that is like outside of my accent or like deviates from what I feel like their normal pattern of accent is, it's very hard for me not to immediately like say out loud what they just said in the kind of slightly different way that they said it. And every time I've done that to most people, they think I'm like mocking the way that they speak. But I'm just like, no, I just think it's fascinating that you said rut instead of root. And so now I had to say rut when you said root. And yeah, so if you have echolale and you like linguistics, you understand that, but everyone else is like, please don't make fun of the way I say bag.
Yeah.
I have a thing called POTS, which makes my heart weird. But it also makes me eat salt.
Oh, yes, the salt thing. So, okay, they eat salt. They have to eat salt. It's part of their life, and it's fine. But it leads to us doing so many crazy things where I have to sit next to them in public as they pull out a baggie, a loose Ziploc baggie with just what I know are salt crystals out of their bag, and then they eat the loose salt crystals, which is like totally fine, and you need to do that. And salt, it's just salt, but like, if anybody sees us, it is going to be basically
Like crystal meth.
yeah, edible crystal meth. It's like living with a deer.
Like, look at Breaking Bad over there. What's happening?
Yeah,
Just not even smoking it. They're just eating it right out of the bag.
Live for the crunch.
What in the Bryan Cranston is going on at table 13?
yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for playing. That was great. I love it because it just makes me feel like I'm in the right company too, because everybody has quirks, right?
Yeah.
So we just get them out in the air and just be like, okay,
yeah,
it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
There's no corner of my heart that I would not turn over to give a good interview response. So we're always happy to be
right. Like I will go digging for the most embarrassing thing. Like this is going to be a great story.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the album that you're working on now that's coming up, but what would you say aside? So you mentioned that you're in your songwriting phase as well too, but so what's the plan for Golem Punk now? Aside from the album, like, do you have more shows coming up? Is there another tour that you're planning, or are you just kind of in let's get the album done mode, or is there anything else?
We have a couple shows locally. We have a show on November 1st with a bunch of other kind of like a little stranger bands. So we're doing kind of like a strange music showcase for Halloween weekend kind of show on November 1st here at the Hawthorne Hideaway, which is in Portland. And then we have another local show in January. And then the plan is to hit up a bunch of festivals in the summer and then end the summer with another tour. So there's that kind of stuff in the works. It's just not specific yet.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what we're working on. Yeah.
Excellent. So, what like are you wanting to do? Like outdoor festivals or indoor festivals? What's the goal with that?
Well, in terms of outdoor, indoor, whatever is the most physically comfortable at that time.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, especially in the summer.
Yeah, but I'm mostly joking. I would say anyone, a little bit of anyone who will take us, but I think we're at that level.
I can relate. I can relate 1000%.
Yeah, but we're also the kind of band that I don't like. People have called us avant-garde, which I don't think we're that avant-garde. Like, as someone who's listened to like weird experimental art music a lot of my life, I'm like, what we're doing still has like verses and choruses and hooks and catchy pop elements to it. So I don't think it's that weird, but I do think we're just past the strange horizon that if like we're with a bunch of other bands that are a little bit more straightforward, we stand out in a way that is unpleasant.
Yeah.
Like there's often we often have to win over an audience, and luckily we often do, I think.
Yeah.
And not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but going over this tour, thank you.
You're welcome.
Going on this tour was like an experience of like the audience being like, whoa, oh, like that's a lot of it. And I would love to have to find festivals or shows that we can play where we are in a context with a bunch of other bands that are kind of doing maybe, I mean, hopefully not exactly what we're doing, because you know we want to be cool and different, but to be strange enough and like for people who like listening to something because it is new and listening to something fresh. Yeah, that's what I would love if there was a festival of that. That's what I
like
would
an
love.
audience of seekers,
Yeah,
like looking for that that experimental sound, something that's a little bit different, something that gives them bragging rights. Like, oh no, like have you heard of Golem Pink? They're so like they're different. You know, they're doing this thing versus like I like Avril Lavigne, or something like that. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Because I think finding an audience for that is important because you can play in front of one audience that they want. Not to, I'm not trying to be offensive to Avril Lavigne, but when
I
you
love
put
Avril.
on, yeah, when you put her music on, though, you know what you're getting. Like, she's like 25 years removed from her shock value of
Yeah,
being different in music, uh, because we've kind of grown to expect what she does.
yeah,
But like when you get into some of the more experimental stuff, you know, every time Radiohead puts out an album, for example, you don't know what it's going to sound like. Nine Inch Nails, they're kind of the same way. And just bands that are willing to just kind of go out and really try to do something different every single time. I have a great appreciation for that because it's very easy to kind of just get into that rut. And I think with the way that you guys write, I think that you have this very particular ability to kind of not have to worry about, being monotonous, and because it can be really hard to kind of get out of that. I think that's something that I struggle with. So I admire when I hear a band like yours that you can it sounds natural, because it also, if a band forces that, you hear that, like you hear, okay, they're trying to do something different, like, but it seems so natural when you guys do it.
thank you.
And yeah, I really love how that goes. So I hope that you're able to kind of find an audience that can appreciate that, because I think you're right. I think if you can get in front of those people, I think that's a very opportunistic moment for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to find the people who are looking for the new thing. I think you got to find the people who uh, want that fresh take. I think we do a good job of like constantly, almost sometimes to a fault. I think like every song is a surprise. Every song is a new thing, and I love it. I do see sometimes it being exhausting to an audience member or two, but I just try to write to make myself happy and to keep myself excited. And often what that means is, for me, undermining myself and writing against myself, where there's been a couple of our songs where the way it's been written is I've essentially like looked at songs that I have written and gone, well, how can I kind of look at what I did in this song? Like, what happens? Is it in a major key? Does it have this kind of structure to it? Does it have this particular moment that happens in it? Do I do any of those things in other songs as well? Okay, cool. Can I write a song that doesn't do that or does the opposite of that? And so that I can then create something that is and still create something that I like. You know, you can't just like create the opposite of what you did before if you hate it. But creating something that I like that is the opposite of what I've done before is a very fun little writing exercise. Not always successful, but a fun writing exercise to like keep it fresh and to keep it exciting, for me at least.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Great, excellent. Well, that's really great. BEX Joy, are you going to be doing the audio engineering for the upcoming album as well too?
Yes, unless we get like a lot of money all of a sudden. I'm gonna hire somebody.
Oh, how
I
relatable that
really
is.
enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And I think that it's been going really well. There's only been one song that I really had a hard time doing, and I think it still turned out pretty good. So
excellent.
You gotta figure out which one. It was Bleed Right for the Vampires. That one, sorry, it was so dense.
It's still
a singular vampire.
It's still a singular
I
vampire.
always call it vampires.
We got all the way to the recording of that song, and then Joy goes to record their backing vocals, and whenever I'm audio engineering, whenever BEX Joy is performing, and I'm audio engineering, I'm just like hitting a button, and then like hitting the record button and stopping the recording button. That's my level of expertise. And we got all the way to making the album, and then we get to that song, and Joy does their harmony part in the chorus, and then we get to the end of that take, and I pause and I go, "Are you saying vampires?" It's been the whole length of this, which means like for multiple years, I think.
Yeah.
During live performances, I'm saying "Bleed Right" for the vampire, and the person behind me.
I know that there's more than one of them out there.
There's gotta be.
And I'm bleeding for all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Em. Haven't you seen Twilight? They're all around us.
Everywhere. They could be anybody. Usually they're 17.
Just look for things that are sparkling, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So you guys have a live acoustic performance planned for us. Is that correct?
We do. I'm going to get this other thing set up.
I am so excited. This is the first live performance for 15 Minutes of Fame interview. Golem Pink is going to be performing. What song are we performing?
We're going to perform How to Boil a Frog, because none of our songs really translate all that well to an acoustic performance. Yeah, like sample-heavy drum machine, indie industrial doesn't necessarily translate to the singer-songwriter experience. But we're going to play How to Boil a Frog, and... what am I?
You're scooch back slightly.
I'm being audio engineered.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this to the game so we don't clip.
Yeah, we have a.
Awesome.
We're doing.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, should we just go for it whenever we're ready?
I'm gonna do a quick intro, and so this is gonna be Golem Pink and How to Boil a Frog.
On a pot, put on a pot and close the lid. Close the lid and wait. Wait for it to slip between your fingers, your fingers, your fingers, your... It crawls in little droplets, droplets, dropping along the side of your foggy eye and your foggy mind. Doesn't matter to the frog, matter to the fog, doesn't even really matter at all.
And you thought you were better than this.
But you're just a frog.
Just another kid.
And no one deserves to get out alive. We're all just patiently waiting just to be boiled alive. 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 Alive.
All right. That was Golem Pink, How to Boil a Frog. You guys, that was a fantastic performance.
Thank you.
I absolutely loved it. That was great. BEX Joy, the backing vocals, what you did with drop and the ascending, like, I just thought that was great. Your guitar playing particularly at the very beginning, I really loved how you went from this arpeggiation into like this strum at the end of it, and you were able to really kind of keep the staccato of the song going as well too.
Thank you.
That's just like, for that to be as complex of a song, for you to essentially pull it out with just 3 different instruments in your 2 voices and the 1 guitar. That was outstanding. That was really great. You guys might want to think about even doing that one live acoustically, like as just kind of like a break in the action, because that was really good.
Thank you. I mean, it's so interesting because that is on the album. That song's on our album, but it is very
I remember
different on the album. It is like half a cappella. It is half like Joy doing like 5 or 6 layers of being a choir and me singing over the top. But that sort of guitar heavy version is a lot more similar to how we do that song live. So it is right. You are correct. We should do it that way live. We don't do it. We don't do it acoustically, but we do it that way. It's just the only difference is there is an additional singer with Helen Spencer Wallace, the person who normally goes here. She also sings and she does a lot on that. And then there's also a big just very different on the album, but that is very similar to our live version. So we do we like to keep things interesting. That's what we do here, and I think part of that is doing stuff live that is very different than what we do
Recorded.
on the recorded album. Yeah.
Well, I think it was great. I think you're right. I think it was very different from the album version, and I think that was really cool. So it's a yet another way that you guys can just really show like different faces in your performances. It's awesome. So
His face.
Yeah. So that's all I got for anybody who's tuned in and watching. This is Golem Pink. We're speaking with Em, and we're speaking with BEX Joy. We heard a fantastic song. We got to have a nice conversation. You guys, once again, thank you so much for doing this interview. You're a big part of the 15 Minutes of Fame family. 15 Minutes of Family, maybe.
Ooh,
but
15 Minutes of Family.
So I want to thank you so much for doing this, and I wish you the best. I can't wait to hear your new album. I can't wait to write a review about your new album. It's exciting, and you guys are great.
Thank you so much for having us. This was a blast.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't wait to do it. So thank you.
Yay.